they flew me out. I taught the class, and they said, whatever you spend, we'll reimburse you, you know, and I spent some money. There was a guy that I went in, that I spent about $60 on this person, but I didn't tell them. I thought, well, that's just me. This poor person, you know, hasn't eaten, and so I paid for them, but I didn't go to them and say, you got to pay for this guy.
That's right.
Because I'm thinking, well, that was just me, right? I don't know how they found out. When I got home, there was a check for $60, you know, waiting for me. I don't know how they found out. But see, so I gave all my money away. I was thinking, I need about $60. I can make it through the week if I have $60. So I'm thinking, I don't know what God's going to do because He made me give my money away. And I'm sitting there with the check for it's exactly $60. And that was like in July. I don't know. Like it took them 4 months to find out what they gave me. It's weird. But God will, if you just do what He says, but we don't want to because we don't trust Him, right? He's going to make us give all our money away. Okay, He makes you. He's got it all planned out. So they did not trust Him, but Samuel, God said to Samuel, go ahead and give them what they want. They don't want me to be their king. They don't want me to be their king, that I should reign over them. So now Acts chapter 13, verse 22, 40, 45 to 46.
And when he had removed him,
Talking about Samuel. When he moved Samuel,
he raised up for them David as king, to whom he also gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who will do all my will.
so now when you say what you were,
Now, I was saying that David, God took him on a journey around, you know, through Israel, Jordan, Iraq, away. Then when he fell in that cave, he fell down and he said, Lord, I'm tired. I'm tired. God said, David, I'm tired. He said, David, everywhere the soles of your feet have touched yours. Then he got him started, yeah, Lord God. He got up and everybody told him, David, shut up, Saul's outside. But he was just praising because now he knows what God was up to in his life.
and all that stuff that he had gone through when he was running from Samuel,
So
from Saul.
that was his territory.
Right.
God said, well, if that's as much as you can run, that's as much as you can have.
Wow. See, that's why we have to talk more. I love that. So now David is king, and the thing about David, you said this last week, he says, David will do everything I told him to do. Now David's going to mess up and do his own stuff. God doesn't care about your mess ups.
No.
He's looking for somebody who will do what He wants. Even if you start to go down a different road, as long as you get back on track. Saul would not do what God wanted. Right? God said to Saul, I want you to sacrifice. And God, Saul's like, well, I sacrificed part of it. You know, but the people, and he would like argue right with God. And I understand that. I've been there. God, I can't speak in tongues in church right now. The people, it's like, I know the people. Like, God's like, I created the people. And I'm arguing with God. Like, God doesn't know what He's doing. And we'll do that. The Spirit of God will come upon Sister Lucas, and she'll sit there and argue with God. Well, I can't just get up and respond because what the preacher going to say? And God's like, why would I fall? I didn't fall on you accidentally. I didn't trip when you were on my way somewhere else. I came up to you on purpose. So get up and do what I want you to do. But we're afraid, right? We don't want to disturb this person, and so He's looking for people who will go ahead and just do it. So now the Spirit of God just says to Lucas, she's just going to get up and do what she's supposed to do. She's not going to fight anymore. She said, Lord, bring back your anointing like it was. Well, now that it's back, you have to do it. Now you're obligated. In the middle of service, if God calls on you, you have to stand up and say, the Spirit of God is upon me. You have to say that. And then whatever happens next happens. Maybe He just wants you to say that. But if the Spirit of God's on you, you have to stand up and say, at least say, the Spirit of God's on me right now. And then let us figure out what's supposed to happen next. But you can't sit there and hold it no more. Because that was David's thing. Once he finally gave in, he's looking for somebody who will do all of His will. He's looking for somebody who will do everything, and David wasn't afraid to do everything God told him to do. Okay, so here's Paul again preaching to them. Verse 40.
Beware, therefore, lest what has been spoken in the prophets come upon you.
Go on.
But when the Jews saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy, and contradicting and blaspheming, they opposed the things spoken by Paul.
Here's just another reason why they reject Paul. Sometimes we're jealous that God is on other people, and we want him to only be on us. We don't want to share. Because now the Gentiles are starting to get saved. It's like, well, wait, I thought I was special. And we are envious of other people. Instead of saying, wow, that person has a wonderful teaching gift also, it's like, uh-oh, that's going to challenge my teaching gift. We can't both be teachers. Wow, that person can also sing. Well, let me try to sing a little higher than them. And so we rejecting God because we're jealous. We're envious that God uses other people. It's a silly thing, but I've seen it where people try to outdo each other because they don't understand that God just wants to anoint everybody. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to touch on what you're saying, that God always puts something in somebody else for me. And I couldn't get something, but he would put it in somebody else. So you said other people is important because it's a brotherly covenant. You can get things from me and I can get things from you, but we can't really get things by ourselves.
Right, so you need other people.
Yeah.
It's good that they have it, but sometimes that makes us jealous. And so they were jealous that the Gentiles were also getting saved. So then we keep reading, verse 46.
Then Paul and Barnabas grew bold and said, it was necessary that the word of God should be spoken to you first. But since you rejected and showed yourself unworthy of everlasting life, behold, return to the Gentiles.
So you can judge yourself unworthy, not understanding the concept that it's a gift. You are not unworthy, you judge yourself unworthy. Once God decides you're worthy and gives you this gift, sometimes our ungratefulness, we're not great, we don't understand that it's a gift, that it's not something that we own, but it's something that's been given to us. So I can sit in a meeting here at the church and people saying, this is my day, this is my month, this is mine, and they don't want to share. When you're doing that, you're judging yourself unworthy. Because nothing belongs to us.
Amen.
So when we say, well, this is mine, if I didn't let any of you ever speak, I'm teaching. This is mine. As soon as I do that, I judge myself unworthy. I have to understand that God's going to speak to a whole bunch of people. You know, in fact, God gives them my sermon. You like you're ahead of me. Because God's already preaching the whole thing to you. I'm going, wow, I didn't even have to lay this out. God already gave them we're like totally in alignment with one another, if that makes any sense.
We have to recognize that to be secure in who God is with us.
Right.
Because of our insecurities that we think, no, this is just for me and I have to do it my way. But you have the freedom, which is what you mark with. And you have the freedom to know who you are in God and not feel threatened by anybody else.
Right. I don't know why. But
That's just the way he did it, and that's how you receive it, that's just how you are. And so for a lot of us, we're learning to be like that in different situations in our lives. You know, whether it's at work or at home or you're at church, to not think that we own it.
Right.
He's only going to use us.
right.
That he wants to minister through us, so that they can feel free enough to do that.
Because we're just a part of God's plan. We're not the end of it. And
Amen.
God uses everybody. God speaks to everybody.
Amen.
So if you know that, then you're always listening for how God's coming through people. But if you think He's only speaking through you, then you're going to miss all this other stuff that God has for you. And so we have to understand God is big, and even if it's not wrapped in a package how we think it should be wrapped, or it's still God using that person in that way. He just speaks through everybody, uses everybody. But as soon as we think it is just ours, something belongs to us. This is my church. And we're going to do it that. This is my. Then you are judging yourself unworthy
Amen.
of everlasting life because you don't understand that it's a gift that does not belong to you. Because we're all unworthy, but He decided, even though you're unworthy, I'm giving it to you anyway. But as soon as you decide, well, no, then it's mine, then you don't get it. It's like, no, it's not yours. It was a gift that you didn't deserve, and now you judge yourself unworthy of getting it. You know, somebody wants to give you $50, and you go, I don't need that. We go, okay. I guess you decide, and that's what God does. Well, all right. I guess you don't need it. Now you really do, right? You know, now you can't go pay.
You might not need it that very moment. Maybe when you walk out the door and something happens, she said, oh, that's why.
That's why I should have. I'm too late, you know. So as soon as you decide that, God says, all right, well, I guess you think you don't need it. And so that's what we do. And so we've got to not judge ourselves unworthy by despising the gift and not understanding that it's a gift that belongs to everybody. It doesn't belong to us. Salvation doesn't belong to us. How someone gets saved, when they should do it, how it should look, that doesn't belong to us to determine. God can save anybody any way he wants, any time. He can do it any way he wants. It doesn't have to be the way we experience it. God can minister any way he wants. We don't own it. You know, somebody can minister just by singing to you or by just hugging you. Or God owns it. We don't own it. How it should happen, how it should sound, you know. But we think, no, ministry should be just this way. No, it can be any way God wants it, and if we're open and understanding that it's God coming through people, that the way it comes to us doesn't have to be the way it happens. But when we do that, and we decide, no, it should be just like this, and what you have to say is not important, we judge ourselves unworthy, and that's what they did. We want to make sure that we don't reject the power of God.
Yeah, I mean, I went through a period of my life where I was like, you know, trying to get somebody saved. Like, I felt like I wasn't doing a good job because I didn't, you know, actually get somebody to accept Jesus. And, you know, so for a long time I was like, what's wrong with me? Why aren't I able to get, you know, but God told me, hey, you know, that's not your gift.
Right.
That's not what you're supposed to do. I'm having you do other stuff. You know, so I just gotta, you know, get myself in line with God instead of trying to, you know, force something.
And the only reason you think that because you might have gone to a church where that was that person's gift. Everybody should be out in the corner witnessing to people. No. Maybe you should, because that's your gift. But maybe, because there are people, remember, Paul, it took a long time for Paul to get somebody saved. They always brought Paul in after people were saved. Because all Paul was going to do was make people crazy and they were trying to kill him. That was not his gift for a long time. Barnabas was really good after people get saved. So we all have different gifts, right? I mean, Christianity is a long process. So some people are just planters putting the thought in people's minds that they need to get saved. Some people are good at reaping to make people get saved. Some people are good after you get saved, I can bring you in and I can help you along. Some maybe after you've been saved for a long time, that's when I'm good to take you to the next steps of being filled with the Holy Spirit. And, you know, it's a whole process. But you can't compare yourself. But we run into people who say, no, this is how Christianity should look, like this. And when you're not doing that, you think something is wrong with you. But they don't understand it. They just got a narrow view of what it should be, and that it's bigger than them. What were you going to say?
Now, I was just going to say that I'm finding out right in the middle of these witnesses, somebody trying to say something that I'm starting to ask God, hey, God, help me right now, because they said something and I don't know where to go with it. And sometimes they're speaking in a way that sounds like foolishness to me, but God knows that person. And if I ask him to come in immediately right now and help me, he's always came in. Because one dude, he said, I believe in reincarnation. I was like, Lord, I don't know where to go with this. And he said, tell him you believe in reincarnation too. So I believe in reincarnation too. And he said, his eyes did like that. Then he said, now strike while the iron's hot. You know, but I didn't know where to go with that.
Right.
And then he said, Don, you've been preaching. Okay, you know, but right in the midst of not knowing, just
right, God just showed you what to say. And then you say, yeah, reincarnation, you've been regarded as a new creature, and God had to turn that around for them.
Right.
But that's how that works through you.
Yeah.
For somebody else, once it gets to that stopping place, they need to shut up.
Okay.
And let somebody else come along.
Amen.
But you are you're anointed to preach, which means that God's going to give you actual, in the moment words in that situation. It's more of a prophetic gift. Because we all have this different gift.
I've seen that.
Right. but that's how it works through you.
Yeah.
So it's easy. Sometimes you want to tell people, well, just pray and then God will give you new word. But maybe they should just be quiet and let the next person come along who's going to, take it from there. So it works all through all of us differently. So we just got, we just have to understand that it's all different. It doesn't belong to us. But once we think it does, then we start to judge ourselves unworthy of everlasting life. Okay, let's bow our head.